I had a plan. I knew exactly how my future would be. I wanted to marry my boyfriend Tucker, to have a nice long engagement as we planned the perfect wedding ceremony. My father would walk me down the aisle as my white dress dragged gently against the tile of our church floor, knocking the pews like a silent bell as I strolled down the aisle. I wanted to work as a teacher until I achieved tenure. Then, after all of those things had taken place, we would make the decision to start a family. We'd have 2 little girls who each had my blonde hair and blue eyes. They'd be 2 years apart and the best of friends. And as for me, I would be prepared, stable, focused, and ready. And happy. I would be happy. I would not be 22 years old, terribly unhappy, unsettled, unmarried. And I certainly would not be standing in the bathroom of my employer, which, by the way, was not even a school, peeing on a stick in front of my coworker. "It's going to be okay, Hadley," Ellie said as we stood near the sink waiting for the 3 minutes to go by. 3 minutes of watching my plans bounce around the walls, threatening to leap out the window. 3 minutes of feeling my heart pound furiously in my chest, dreading the outcome of the test. "What if it's not?" I asked her, my eyes red and puffy. Ellie scrunched up her lips. That's what she did when she was hesitant. She had no idea what to say to me. I've always been really observant and perceptive when it comes to people's body language. They barely needed to say anything for me to know exactly what they were thinking. I was dreading Tucker's reaction to learning he'd be a father in 9 short months, rather than the 5 to 8 years we had discussed. He wasn't ready for this. I wasn't either. And we were barely hanging on as it was. "It's been 3 minutes," Ellie said, with hesitation in her voice. "Do you want me to look?" I didn't answer her right away. My pulse raced, sweat poured out, and my hands shook as I gripped the sides of the pedestal sink. "Hadley," Ellie whispered as she stroked my shoulder with her fingertips. "Yes, please," I said, taking a deep breath in and out. "I can't look." I closed my eyes, waiting to hear the news. I heard Ellie pick up the small plastic stick from the ledge below the mirror. She sighed loudly before speaking, and just with that sigh, I knew my world had changed. Completely. Chapter 1. 6 months earlier. Auden and I were floating in a gondola, soaking in the last few moments of our vacation. Auden was flirting with the gondola driver as he toured us through the channels. Champagne tickled my taste buds before gliding down my throat. The smell of linen drifted in the air as we passed in between the buildings lined with hanging laundry. A woman with long brown curls peeked out from behind a brittle gray shutter. For some reason, I knew I'd seen her before. She winked at me, and butterflies stirred in my stomach. Something felt off about that wink. It was eerie, creepy, and ominous. I looked to Auden for reassurance, but she was gone. And suddenly, I knew this was not my first time in the fragile boat. "Hadley," a distant voice said to me. I turned to see the gondola driver looking down, peering into my eyes. "Wake up," he said. The room eventually came into focus as I was pulled from my dream. No longer sitting in a gondola, my still body was on a bed in a beige, sterile room. Tubes were attached to my right hand, and my other hand was squeezed tightly by the grip of another person. My head was elevated, and thick plastic tubing rested inside my nose. I blinked my eyes again and again as I attempted to get a clearer view of my surroundings. Why is she so hazy? Despite my fuzzy brain, I knew that voice. At least, I thought I did. It wasn't the voice of a stranger. It was Tucker. My Tucker. "It's the medication," the doctor responded. "She's going to be in and out of consciousness for the next few hours." "She's going to be okay, though," Tucker said, and I felt him squeeze